Amie, who are you representing? What's the invitation that we've extended to you?
Yes, so I'm representing CYF, so Children's, Youth and Families Roundtable. Some of us are here. So yes, I'm representing that particular group.
Wonderful. And the conversation that Amie's going to open up today is one that has begun there very much, but it is also permeating across a number of different areas in Baptist family life. So I'm going to say, on your marks, get set, and then we'll be ready to go. That's a cue for the tech team as well. So let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
On your marks, get set, go.
Their child, my child, your child, our child. But if you give them a hard time, bullying or taking advantage of their simple trust, you'll soon wish you hadn't. You'd be better off dropped in the middle of the lake with a milestone around your neck, doomed to the world for giving these God-believing children a hard time. My name is Amie Buhari. I'm the CEO and founder of the Hebe Foundation, a Christian youth organization helping young people realize and use their God-given gifts and talents. Our young people mainly come from disadvantaged, ethnic minority backgrounds, just like me. This is my amazing mum and her 3 daughters. I'm the youngest. Single-handedly, she brought us up whilst working full-time as an NHS nurse. She suffered racism from the workplace, from the community, but she kept her faith, her love for humanity, her sanity, and persevered. Despite the clear adversity, my childhood was great. At no point did I ever feel unsafe, and in 2 environments I spent most of the time growing up in, home and school. Child Q. You all know the story. Actually, the nightmare. In March this year, we were told that a black schoolgirl aged 15 years suffered a horrific ordeal at the hands of 2 institutions who were designed to protect her. While at school, her teachers suspected she was smoking cannabis, even though they didn't smell anything on her, nor having any disruptive behavior beyond coming to school late. They didn't take her aside, have a conversation with her to find out if she was okay. They didn't call her parents with their concerns. They called the police. 4 police officers for 1 child, no clear reason for being there, proceeded to ruin this girl's life forever. 2 of them took her in a room, strip searched her, bearing her intimate parts for drugs that were never found there in the first place. Despite being visibly on her period, she was told to remove the sanitary pad and was not allowed to clean herself up. She was humiliated and shamed, she was violated and abused, and nobody was there to defend her, to say stop, to call for this what it actually is, a blatant act of racism. Would this have ever happened to a white child? The reality is no. So why do not all children have the same rights? And where is the voice of the church? Are you uncomfortable yet? Do you feel uneasy? Good, you should do. If your heart isn't broken like mine, then why not? I cried. I cried for Child Q and all the young people I work with who could easily replace her in this scenario. I cried for every child that doesn't have access to equal rights and protection. I feel the heavy burden of every black and brown child who is growing up in society that doesn't really celebrate them, but instead abuses them. In all areas, the scales are unbalanced. The table is uneven. How long would the scales be tipped to favor some, but not all? There is nothing hidden that will not be revealed. There is nothing kept secret that will not come to light. This is not the first incident, and unfortunately won't be the last. We cannot remain silent anymore. Injustice will be called to give account for its actions. Our black and brown young people are in a fight for their rights. I can tell you so many stories from past and present about the mistreatment of our young people from institutions within society. I'd like us to ask ourselves, how will my church be intentional in breaking our silence and complicity concerning racism? Fill us with your mercy, so that we in turn may be merciful to others. Strip away pride, suspicion, and racism, so that we may seek peace and justice in our communities. Strengthen our hearts that they beat only to the rhythm of your holy will. Fill our path with your light as we walk humbly towards a future filled with encounter and unity. I was there at the community gathering in protest for Child Q. I wish I had the church standing beside me. In fact, I wish the church had been leading the protest. Where was the voice of solidarity from the Baptist church? Stepping up once every few years when something major happens isn't enough. I heard the voices when George Floyd died, but we still can't breathe out here. And now our children are suffering. This is an ongoing fight which won't change overnight. But we're asking, will you journey with us on the road to equality? Will you stand with your brothers and sisters until we are truly seen as one? Will you speak up for the child that lives on the other side of the country from you, from the one who has a different colour to your child, to the skin of your grandchildren? The Children's Youth and Family Service Roundtable, created a resource to equip churches to address racial justice with younger generation and the whole church. For the past 6 months, we've been trying to deliver this, but haven't had as much success. And I believe this comes down to fear and complicity. Fear that maybe you'll say the wrong thing or you'll be misunderstood. Fear of engaging with a subject that might expose behaviours that will lead us to evaluating each other. Racism motive, how could it not be? I hear people say that they don't have black and brown children in their community, so it's not relevant to them. But does the love of a child depend on geographical location? So you feel inadequate, you don't know what to say. Love. Love without judgment, without stereotype, with wisdom and with intention, with humility. Love uncomfortably. We're all complicated people, but silence is complicity. We need to give our voice to our young people, but how can you do that unless you find your voice? Get informed. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved. Ask questions, relearn history, go out of your way to know people who are different than yourself. Strengthen others so you can strengthen yourself so you can strengthen others. We have some national justice roadshows coming up, racial justice roadshows with the CYF. We would love to be able to explore this with you more, to be able to share and unpack the resource that we have created, and we hope that you will attend. I need you to understand that we, black and brown people, we're strong. We're resilient, we rise and continue to rise. Child Q and all the children she represents belong to us all. Their child, your child, my child, our child, God's child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amie, for what a challenge that you've posed and what a challenge to do that in 6 minutes. But perhaps the question that Amie is posing to us, our churches, our associations, how will my church, our church, be intentional in breaking our silence and complicity concerning racism, particularly in connection with children and young people?